Peel me a grape, scratch me some ice, skin me a peach and save the fuzz for my pillow. Poach me a prawns, talk to me nice, you got to wine me and dine me. I'm getting hungry. Peel me a grape.
Well, hi there, Cooking Club members. Green beans and snap peas with basil mint pesto is a crunchy, fresh, brightly flavored dish and perfect for your summer table. Snap peas and green beans are nutritious, low in calories, and of course, delicious. Both can be eaten raw, but we're going to cook them to bring out their color, take a little bit of the rawness away, but I promise we will maintain their crispness and we are not cooking all the nutrition away. Now the fun thing about this recipe is the almond-based pesto we're making, which is great in this recipe, but other vegetables and chicken, fish, and certainly pasta would benefit from this fresh and simple sauce. The herbs we're using right from the garden. But first I have 12 ounces each of green beans and snap peas, and I'm going to put those into boiling water for just 3 minutes. And that's just enough time for us to make our pesto. And you can run that whenever you're ready. And these go into the water. Okay, so these are almonds, and I toasted those at 350 for about 8 minutes. And I'm going to take half of them and set those aside. And then the other half is going to go into my food processor. And I don't usually make pesto with almonds, but it's really, really good, so you have to give it a try. And then this is a half a cup of grated Parmesan, and I put a clove of garlic in there, chopped up. And then I have, this is basically 2 cups of basil leaves and a cup of mint, probably a little heavy on the mint side. I just kind of went with what I had in the garden. We're going to just pulse this and break it all up nicely. It's fairly coarse, but still ground up. Now I'm going to leave that running, and I'm pouring in. It's about a half a cup of olive oil is what I wound up using. The recipe says 1/3 of a cup, but I wanted a little bit more because I was pretty heavy on those herbs, and I wanted it a little thinner. And that's all there is to it. Look at that. It's such a beautiful bright green. A little salt. I'm using a coarse Malden sea salt and some freshly ground black pepper. Smells fantastic. We'll just pulse that again to finish it off. And now, that was just enough time for me to finish up my little, look at those, my beautiful green vegetables, and into an ice bath. I'm going to turn this off. So that was probably 2 minutes long. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, about that.
2 to 3 minutes is all you need. You don't want these cooked any longer than 3 minutes because we want them to be nice and crisp, but bring out that green color and take a little bit of the rawness out of them, which is always nice. But I promise they'll still be nice and crunchy. And into the ice bath, and let me just rearrange things here a little bit. I have over here a tray with some paper towels on it. We're going to take them right out of the ice bath because of course they're cold now, and we don't want to leave them in there because we don't want them to absorb any of this water. We just want to cool them off, stop the cooking, and make them nice and cold, and that's all it takes. It's not even long enough for the ice to melt. What a gorgeous green they are. So it's just take me a little bit to get rid of the ice cubes that are kind of stuck in here. In particular, I love doing snap peas this way. I like them when they're just, you know, right out of the garden and fresh as well, but in a salad or a side dish like this, they just look so beautiful, and they maintain their crispness so well if you just don't overcook them. So I'm struggling a little bit with this ice, but I'm going to win this battle, so don't worry. Last one. Okay, there we go. Now I'll take another paper towel and just pat these dry. And I'm going to switch bowls out here. Getting rid of the excess moisture is really important. You don't want this dish to be watery, that is for sure. So you can take a little extra time with that. And I have one snap pea that is not looking great, so we're going to get rid of him. If you don't like the way it looks, just toss it. There we go. Okay, so let's put these in a bowl now. It's a little bit of extra work to do this, to, you know, basically blanch these and then put them in an ice bath and then dry them off, but it's really worth the effort because they look absolutely beautiful. And here's another one that I don't like the looks of. Right from the farmer's market. You know how it is. Have to do a little editing sometimes. Okay, all in there. I'll set this aside. Now, get my board back here. I need some lemon juice. So let me just cut a lemon in half here. I need roughly 2 tablespoons. And I have a good feeling about this lemon. I think I'm going to get, for sure, 2 tablespoons out of it. And this is actually probably a little bit more, so we won't use all of it. I'm going to estimate that in there. That. Let me just grab some tongs here. Let's just toss that up. And then the pesto you saw me make earlier is right here. And I really like this with the toasted almonds. And toasting the almonds is really important. And I usually toast most of the nuts that I use when I'm making pesto because it just brings out their flavor. It enhances the nuttiness. We need about 3 tablespoons for this, so I'm going to estimate that. Toss that together. Now the water that I boiled these in, blanched them in basically, was salted. So you have to bear in mind that there's already some salt going on here. A little salt in the pesto, but we are also going to finish it off with a little bit of salt and pepper. So, okay, so that's nicely mixed up. Then let me get my little serving dish here. And what I like to do with this, I mean, there's already pesto on here, but I want to kind of use this as my base. And then when people are taking the vegetables, they can take them with tongs, and then I'll have a spoon on this side and they can scoop up some of this pesto. So we're going to just kind of coat the whole bottom of the platter with our pesto. I can really, really smell that mint, and I can really smell the garlic too. Just wonderful. And I think, you know, in terms of the mix, I was out in the garden just clipping herbs, so I think I actually had more mint than I had basil, which is a little bit of the reverse of what the recipe calls for. But you really can't go wrong with the pesto, I don't think. And then let's go ahead and put these on top. What do you think of this, Mark? Is this beautiful or what?
Yeah, it's good. It smells good.
Yeah, this whole room just smells like herbs and fresh vegetables. It's wonderful. And I love the color. It's just so inviting. And people know when they see vegetables that are bright green like this, they know they're cooked, but they know they're not overcooked, because if you overcook them, this is not the green you're going to see. You're going to see a green that is, I would call it what, an army green? Overcooked vegetables. We've all been there. We've lived through it. Okay, what do I have to do now? I have to garnish this with the reserved almonds that I have right here. I left these pretty chunky. What order you do this in, I leave you to your own devices. But this is roughly a 1/4 cup because we started with a 1/2 cup of almonds that we toasted. And again, toasting is important. Really changes the flavor of the nuts, brings it out, makes them just have a really nice toasted flavor to them. Okay, let's do the salt first. This is Malden sea salt, so it's a nice flaky, crunchy sea salt. Just a little bit of that over the top. Remember, we've done some salting already in the pesto and the water, so we don't want to overdo it. And then this is Noisy, my pepper grinder, freshly ground black pepper. I like pepper a lot, so you can probably tell that. Then Parmesan cheese, just grate, shave some of that off. I'm just going to use my handy peeler to do that. Want some just nice pieces of it. Love Parmesan done like this. You kind of can't go wrong. However it breaks up is just fine. But I think it's a nice, elegant presentation as opposed to just grated cheese on top. Gives it more texture. And it's fun. Peeling is fun. I'm the person, of course, in the restaurant when they come and they grate the Parmesan for you. I'm always like, come back, wait, I'm not done, I need more. So one more. Okay, that looks good. And then, what did I do with my cutting board? I need some lemons to garnish this with. And then if people want to take a lemon, slice with them and squeeze it on before they eat it, they have that option. You never have too many herbs or too many lemons, I always say. And those you can just place around the platter like that. I think this is a perfect summer dish. Early summer, when the snap peas and the green beans are arriving at the farmer's market at the same time, this is when you make that dish. This is when you put it on your summer table for your summer fete, and this smells and looks absolutely gorgeous. So making ahead, the one thing I wanted to bring up about that, when you toss it, once you toss it with the lemon juice, you start a process that's going to eventually discolor your vegetables. So to make ahead, you can do the blanching, you can do the pesto, you can even shave your Parmesan, cut up your lemons, juice your lemons, do all of those things, but toss it together right before you serve it. Don't try and hold it for hours or anything like that, because it will start to discolor. It won't get mushy or anything like that, and I know this because I've tried it, but it starts to discolor and it's not as pretty. So if you're going to take it on the road for your summer fete, your family reunion, whatever you're doing, make sure that you just keep everything separate and have enough room to put it together and present it as such right before you serve it. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy making this recipe. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Mwah.